Welcome to the EdTech Lounge session. As you know, this is a community of practice for faculty members to come and share their experiences of teaching with technology, online learning, blended learning, and um, have a conversation around their experiences of online teaching and learning. Since the start of the lockdown, we have now conducted 28 EdTech Lounge sessions. So we're very grateful to all our faculty members who have come forward and shared their experiences of teaching with technology, particularly online teaching during COVID. And I sincerely wanted to thank everyone who has very generously shared their practice with the participants and allowed us to learn from them. So with this, I will now just share a little bit about the EdTech Lounge for those who are new to the session. So at Tech Lounge, our speaker of the day will share their practice for about 15 to 20 minutes. During their talk, if you have any questions or comments, please use the chat window. Here is a nice poster with the photographs of all our previous speakers and also Shanaz, our today's speaker photograph as well. It is my pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Ms. Shanaz Qasim. She is an assistant professor at the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, Pakistan. Shanaz has completed her education at Aga Khan University, registered nursing diploma, post-RN Bachelor's of Science in Nursing and Masters of Science in Nursing. She's currently teaching in MSc, post-RN, BScN and BScN programs at the School of Nursing and Midwifery in Pakistan. Last year, she received 30 Years of Service Achievement Award at AKU. And this year, she has become a fellow of the Higher Education Academy UK. She was among the pioneer faculty in School of Nursing and Midwifery who, after getting trained for blended learning in 2013, played an instrumental role in transforming post-RN BScN program from traditional face-to-face to online and blended. She is a caring mentor to many faculty colleagues and preceptors to graduate students. She has conducted numerous capacity building workshops for SONM and national nursing faculty. She's known by her students as an innovative and engaging teacher who tries different teaching strategies in classes and in clinicals. Shanaz's research interest and publications are on questioning skills, critical thinking, concept mapping, blended and online learning, palliative care, and active teaching learning strategies. So I'd like to now invite Shanaz to share her experiences of using the P model for online teaching and learning. Over to you.
Thank you, Azra. I'm humbled by the introduction. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, dear faculty members, colleagues, friends, and outsiders, if they have joined, because many people were asking me if outside people can also join, so I have shared some link. Good afternoon, and I am privileged to talk to all of you and share some pearls of online education that I have gathered over my journey. And I do know that since last 28 sessions that we all have attended as faculty and educators, many of the AKU faculty have talked about their experiences and their challenges while transitioning to online education. So I want you all to go a step further and hear my pearls of online education. They are not wisdom pearls, but the only reason I'm calling them as pearls are because I have gotten, I have dived into the sea to understand what the online education was all about, and I have gathered these pearls based on my experiences and my reflections. So during COVID-19, I think many faculty, innovated and tried to accept the challenge of teaching students online and assessing their, performances and skills and theory. So I was also one of the pioneer faculty in School of Nursing and Midwifery, Pakistan, and I have conducted one palliative module on end-of-life care for trainee nurse interns as an online module first time. And then we completed, as my team completed Masters of Science in Nursing Critical Thinking course, which was halfway left for graduate students. So I did that through online. And then I also completed the course, instruction and assessment for post-RN, BSCN, and undergraduate BSN students in health assessment. So encompassing all these four experiences, I think I am now able to, say that I got these pearls, and this P model that I am calling it is something that I have, learned from my knowledge, from my experiences. So John Dewey, I concur with him that it's not just learning from your raw experiences, but reflecting on them gives you the meaning of experience. So when, as a reflective practitioner, I think as an educator, as a nurse practitioner, we all are, always engaged in reflection. Reflection in action when we are doing some action or doing some experience, reflection on action, meaning after the activity, and reflection for action. That means reflecting on the event again so that in future your experience will improve. So based on using this reflective framework and my love for the word P, I don't know where I have gotten that. Maybe because I read about Big's 3P model when I was a baccalaureate student in teaching learning major, education major. I learned about presage, process, and product as three major steps of any planning, any teaching learning encounter. And then maybe going back to my nursing diploma when I was a second year student in 1986, that we learned about 6 P's. 6 P's for a nurse is 6 P's for circulatory check. So the word P has always, intrigued me. And when I was teaching my graduate students critical thinking and creativity, sometimes I would just create, a model or innovative idea in a class, and this P has always been with me for so many years of my teaching experience. So then when the time came for online education and this innovation, I somehow, came up with, after going through and conducting different modules and different courses and online, everything, clicked and it came together and consolidated. And then I worked on and creatively expanded and added more piece to Big's model. And I thought, this is something I have learned through this experience. So it would be a good guide and a framework for other faculty who are also experimenting to think about these P's before you start any online education module or a coursework or a curriculum. So today I'm going to talk about the pearls of online education, and the three phases that are there are presage, process, and product. And each phase have been further, creatively expanded with some headings which also starts with P. So let me take you through each of them individually. So the first is presage. When we say presage, it means prior to any action. So what was the presage? What was the trigger? What was the indicator that made all of us go towards online education? Of course, year 2020, March, was the presage indicator for Aga Khan University faculty and students, because this pandemic, made us think how we can connect, how we can continue business, how we can, go on letting students learn and graduate on time and, go back to the workforce. So pandemic was our presage trigger this time. But next year or maybe future years when the pandemic is over, would you like to go on with the online education? That is a question. So the presage will guide you, the indicators, the purpose will guide you, your perspectives will guide you whether and in which course and how much do you want to go for online education. Because presage talks about the characteristics of the learners and the learning environment. So the perspective that I told you, this time the pandemic is the purpose, but future it may be innovation, furthering and enhancing the educational technology, because you all know education field has become very stagnant, with didactic and face-to-face, and it's only recent last decade that we have started moving to blended and hybrid models and now online education during the COVID pressure. So a very important P to be focused on in presage is what is your perspective? Find out the purpose. Why do you want to go for online education or any other modality of education? And then if you decide that online is the perspective that you want, how much is the preparedness? That is a very important P in the presage phase. Preparedness from faculty, preparedness from the university, preparedness from the discipline. So we are fortunate that at Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, Pakistan, we have Moodle, which is our learning management system, very, strong and very reliable, good quality. And the good thing is most teachers at School of Nursing have been trained from VDLNet and QTLNet for their faculty development programs. I had my training in 2013, and the whole post-RN BSN program was slowly and gradually converted to blended learning module system. So if the faculty has that preparedness, the school is ready, the discipline, the university has that learning management system, and the VLE is accessible 24/7 for students and faculty. And if the faculty have had small prior experiences of doing some, online teaching or attending meetings or webinars and conducting small exams in LRC maybe, but having something to do with online, that gives them the confidence and the boost to go for this perspective. So when we were asked by the management that the trainee nurse interns have to start, workforce, and we have to finish this palliative care module, which has always been given face-to-face, could you think about online, because it's COVID time. And it was April 15th when we started this excuse me, it was April, first April, I remember when this meeting took place and we were requested to think about offering the module online. So the second P is that you have to keep in mind with in the presage is the participants. Gathering information about the participant in terms of their access to software, their access to platform, their internet access. Do they have any devices? One device, two device, mobile, laptop, desktop? What is the bandwidth? Issues with the bandwidth. How strong is their bandwidth? How strong is their internet signals? Do they have any packages to buy? Because a lot of money is also invested, because if the students are in a remote areas at their own homes and residences, they're not using university packages and internet devices sometimes. So the participant category P talks about gathering information before you start doing and during the planning process in the presage, you have to know about the participants. And their preparedness is also very important. It's not just the technological access that they have to have, but it's how prepared and ready they are with learning tools. Are they aware of, how to log on, how to enroll, how to participate? And have they been given any trainings or educational workshops to, do the online learning? So when we were asked for the trainee nurse interns, there were 141 recent graduates who had just graduated last November. So in April, they were part of, interns working in the hospital, and they had to complete certain continuing education hours to join as workforce. So because they had had recent experience of blended learning in their 4th year and they had graduated, and they were fortunately in Karachi based. So we started with them as our priority. And then slowly and gradually with that experience and confidence, we went on to conduct and, go back to online teaching for our master students who were very few, and they all had, their devices. Then we went on to post-RN BSc program, who were mature and senior and who could do the self-directed learning. And then lastly, we targeted our undergraduate students, the first to fourth year students, because 43% of the students in undergraduate program belonged to Gilgit-Baltistan Chitral district, and they had very difficult internet access. So we also had to think about how to help them through remote access. So knowing about the participants' P in this first phase, pre-save, is very important. The second phase is process. Now, when we talk about process, it has everything that is done to prepare and make your curriculum or your course or your program or your module ready. So creation and execution of various study processes, the course designing, everything that you plan, you have to actually process it in this phase to make the learning meaningful and engaging. So in planning, excuse me, in planning, one must understand that when you are planning for any online education, you just can't shift the gear from face to face to online and, just convert all the activities and all the learning plans in that manner. You have to redesign an entire module or an entire course. And then you have to see whether the course alignment is still congruent and it's not mismatching. And you have to see whether the learning outcomes jive with the teaching learning activities that you have planned. And the assessments are also complementing the entire course. So when we are focusing on planning, you have to think about how you will redesign the module. You have to think about the principles, and the common principles that we use in Sonam and we trained faculty was Act FAIRES 2 by Walker. And the link below there has also an article in PDF format. So if anybody is interested to read the Act FAIRES 2 Principles of Online Education, you can read that. But focusing on some principles while you are planning and while you are seeking approval from your entity, local entity, approval bodies like your curriculum committee or your remote working group from Aga Khan University. So we had the similar processes, and I think all faculty from whichever department you or whichever entity you belong, we had to submit our proposals for our courses, and we got our online remote readiness checklist approved from our curriculum department and from our remote working group. So these things have to be planned as to how you redesign your module, how you will, make sure that the alignment is there and the learning outcomes are focused and the activities are balanced. And then another thing is patterning of your program or your module or your course. How much is blended versus online? Do you want it to have it a hybrid model? Do you want to have it asynchronous and synchronous? If so, what will be the percentages of it? So how many activities in a class will be asynchronously done and how many will be done synchronously? The assessments, what modalities will you use? So the entire pattern of the module or your program has to be planned. So this is a very important P in planning, where you focus on principles and patterns. And the next P in the process is the pedagogies. The pedagogies that one is aware of in terms of teaching learning engagement, whether it is focusing on student engagement with the content. So what type of student engagement with the content are you focusing on? What type of engagement will you, design for student to student engagement? So peer work, group work, discussions, forums. Then what type of engagement you will have with from student and faculty? So how much of, teacher-centered or student-centered or inquiry-based learning or reflective-based learning you will have in your program or in your module or in your course. And currently with the COVID pandemic, I have attended many sessions, and I'm sure all of you have also attended the inclusive learning design concept that has come in, that you see the student as a holistic approach, and then you help the student to be more creative and guide their learning. So, and then focusing on trauma-informed pedagogies, because this COVID time has been very stressful, just as for faculty, more for the students, because they are actively engaging in learning difficult times. So some of these pedagogies, I'm thankful to the digital boot camps and the QTLNet and BDLNet for conducting these digital boot camps for faculty of AKU on Padlet, and which is a open discussion board, on Kahoot, which are for quizzes, and for training us to how to use Zoom and Microsoft and Skype, and many other tools, e-learning tools. So you have done the pre-stage assessment, you have focused on your participants and perspectives. The second phase was your process, where you focused on your planning and your pedagogies. The third phase is a product phase. So in product, your product is your program, how you are giving your program in a package form. And this phase focuses on the performance outcomes, the program success, and the productivity of learning of students and challenges encountered. So when we offered palliative and oncology care module, it was a week-long module for trainee nurse interns, and we had anticipated out of 141 students, 141 interns, 99% will attend, because we had done their assessment that they were all in Karachi base, and except 3 who were on earned leave in GBC district, and then there was 1 on maternity leave and on leave. So fortunately, our program was very successful, because all of them passed the module with good flying results. There were some objectives which were incomplete for some of the students. There were some problems, but overall, getting feedback about the program from the participants, from the teachers, seeing how the program ran through, were the classes scheduled and they were conducted, were the activities like virtual seminar and simulation were planned, discussion forums were planned, were they taken place, did it have any problems, did they go smooth? So everything related to the program success will be part of programming. Then definitely the goods and the bads, so I called it prizes and pitfalls. So you can see in this picture, our trainee nurse interns are excited, and the simulation patient, they are taking some history and they're sharing bad news. So after the simulation was over, they clicked a picture and they shared with the faculty that the virtual simulation was very helpful, and how it helped them understand their concept of sharing bad news. So the price of the program and the performances have to be highlighted, and you should talk about it, the students and teachers' positive feedback, their satisfaction level, and any prized moments should be captured. The last phase is pitfalls. As you can see on the slide, we asked our participants what were the pitfalls, what were the challenges, what were the problems that they encountered. So this is one slide about their internet connectivity and Chrome browser usage. There were other feedback on the types of activities they liked or they did not like. Students liked short reading articles and videos, but they did not like the discussion forums, because it had to be done very fast every day. The topic and the participation was noted. So you can have feedback about the program from any perspective. And as you can see here, we were focusing on, it was our first time experience of online education. So we were very concerned about students, logging off or, disconnecting because of power failure or internet connections. And it has come out very clearly that, there were these pitfalls. But the good side of it was that it helped us to plan alternatives for this group. And we guided them for keeping their 3Gs ready. We also started our class recordings for synchronous, so then whenever they will have the lights and the electricity, they could watch the videos on their own and complete the objectives. So this is the product phase, which has program, price, and pitfalls. And that finishes my presentation about the 3Ps model, and which I call the pearls of online education. So thank you so much.